I want to thank everybody for watching Crypto Revolution. We talk about everything crypto daily, jumping right into the market. Today in crypto, Bitcoin daily chart. Let's start here. So we talked about 21,000 being a key level of overhead resistance that we want to see the bulls break in order to see 22,500, 24,400. Okay, potentially come up here and kiss the 200 simple moving average on the daily time frame. Okay, now we're going to zoom into lower term time frames to get a better feel for what Bitcoin is potentially going to do. We got some news coming. We got to cover that. Very important. But this double bottom idea could be in play on a breakout flip higher. But will you see some downside first? And so make sure to watch the video all the way to the end. I got some setup ideas. They're long, so Bitcoin has to work with us. We need Bitcoin to move higher, and it's really going to depend on the news that we have coming out from the Fed. Remember, November the 2nd, Fed rate hike coming. And then, you've got CPI information, inflation data. So there's a lot of big news coming over the next week to 10 days. Bitcoin 4-hour chart. So we talked yesterday about this previous support. This is now resistance. Now the bulls have been unable to break above that. We did get that move to the downside, and it's at this support level. So we need a bullish break of this small bull flag, and then a test and break above 21,000, and things start to change as far as more upside for the Bitcoin bulls. Break to the downside, obviously there's this double top in play, so we need to be cautious on that idea from playing out. I've got some amazing shout outs to give in my trading group. This person turned $5,000 into over $10,000 in less than a week. He was holding a bunch of stale coins that are doing nothing, and he put them in the right coins, and he doubled his money, period. This person, he didn't learn any of these ideas in 2017. He invested $18,000. And once he joined the group, he turned it into $78,000. This person, he said, dude, you got to be kidding me. These gains are like out of a movie. I'm averaging a Bitcoin a month. You've got to be in the right coins. You've got to avoid the wrong coins. You can't sit and hold downtrends. Basic ideas are mentioned and taught every single day in my group. This person joined the trading group last May, started trades in June, and now his balance has moved from $12,000 to $26,000. We kill this market daily, period. I had so many people rejoining the group, coming back to where the money is made. We're going to continue the discount. So right now it's 60% off if you pay in crypto, and an additional $100 off. I'm going to make sure you're in the best setups, period. Go over to my website, cryptorev.net. Join. If you have any questions about joining, send me an email, cryptobitcoinchris@gmail.com. So today we had some bangers, 40%, 28%, 13% yesterday. Obviously we had a ton of Bitcoin upside, and we killed multiple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 bangers yesterday. And it's just on every single day, banger after banger after banger. This is my INJ setup, and I posted that it looks bullish, needs to break and hold the daily 200 simple moving average, and it did. Remember, the 200 simple moving average, which is yellow on my charts, different time frames is going to be in a different place, but this is a bullish catalyst. Bots are programmed to buy on this idea. Okay, and so I use the 200 simple to enter a lot of trades, and know if this were to roll over and you get a bullish retest, to re-enter or add to my trades. And so again, these are ideas that are taught in the group, but you've got to know these basic ideas to make a ton of money in this market. FOMC meeting happening on the 2nd, so you're going to get your Fed rate hike. Unemployment is coming out, so there's definitely that's going to be on the 4th, about 12:30 p.m. Remember, the Fed, they want to keep, right now, let's say there's 2 jobs for every 1 person. That's high. The Fed wants to bring that down. Really, they'd like it at 1-to-1, 1 job opening for 1 person. Okay, but they'd be happy with like 1.6 jobs to one person. And so we have to say the goal is keep unemployment rate stable, keep the stock market stable, which we're on this huge bull rally, right? If you go to ES1, you've got a huge bull rally in the stock market. It's not broken yet. So the biggest thing, most important thing you guys have to understand is when the Fed pivots, a lot of things are going to change in this market. And so we're waiting for the Fed to pivot, and they will pivot when they break unemployment, when they break the stock market, or when they get inflation under control. And then particularly they could pause just to really let the pain set in over 6 months to even a year. Pause would let reality catch up to what the charts are showing us. So this person, real quick, I just got this a second ago, he's up 3x in 3 days. Huge. He's a bit euphoric. I always say, hey, when you're euphoric, just slow down, take a day off. BNB, and I've got some setups that I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this video. This is just one of my setups I posted. Waiting on a breakout on the 25th, and 6 days later up 16%. I trade a lot of larger cap coins. You can trade a lot more money. It's easier to get in, it's easier to get out. The gem pick bangers are posted in a separate group, and that's where you get your huge multiples. But you're trading with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $300, $200. It's real easy. That's where you want to be in if you're trying to triple, quadruple, 10 extra money. This is more large caps or heavier, harder to move them. But I mean, you can buy $100,000, $200,000 of BNB and not even move the price. If you try to do that on Kucoin, you're going to pump the coin and you'd be working against yourself. And so you have to understand what markets you need to trade in and what exchanges you need to trade on. So this is the Bitcoin CME futures 1 hour chart. The most important thing here, you're working in this rising wedge, 68% chance that this breaks to the downside. Okay, but now what I'm a little bit concerned about is this being a lower high. So you have high and then lower high, and you're hugging this lower trend line. So this 68% chance this breaks to the downside. We're going to go look at the stock market to get a better picture on what could possibly happen, but you don't want to see this double top get confirmed and break below 20,140. ES1, so this is our gauge. We've talked about this multiple times. And we said, hey, a small corrective wave is completely normal. If this comes down here and hits this lower trend line, completely normal. You'd see short-term Bitcoin downside, but then you need this bounce. Okay, you need this bounce to happen. This bounce will give you another impulsive wave to the upside. If this thing breaks lower, close your longs, open shorts, because right now this is a huge downtrend Bitcoin is working in, and you could see a lower low, considerably lower low. And now, a lot of this is really going to depend on, we got variables with this news coming out. This is really going to set the tone for the next month or two. Okay, so just remember, again in December, you'll see another rate hike. And so we really need the Fed, it's called dovish, when they weaken their stance. They're not as hawkish. Hawkish is when they're really aggressive to raise the rates, right? So we want them to be dovish, lighten up a little bit. If this rolls over, we see a 50 basis point rate hike. So these are real important ideas. We talked about this pattern as a gauge to know how much more upside possible out of Bitcoin. This thing breaks out. I mean, what are the chances that this thing breaks out and goes up and you start to see a test of all-time highs? What's it going to take in the market? I mean, you just had Amazon, Google. I mean, you've got all these major corporations missing earnings, right? Apple says they're going to sell a lot less iPhones. You got all kind of craziness going on in Europe. Like, what do you think is going to make this actually go and retest all-time highs? Anything? So let's be realistic and think, okay, this move to the downside is probable, but we're not going to predict it. We're going to react to the move to the downside. But understand, because these the price action's been putting in your low, your high, your lower low, lower high, lower low. Here's a higher high, which is good, but you need the next low to be a higher low for some type of uptrend to be forming. And so that is the hopium over the midterm for the Bitcoin bulls and these altcoins. I just started looking at the Kucoin gem picks. I've got some large cap ideas that we're going to look at. Again, if Bitcoin breaks the downside, these are not going to play out. But listen to me, on these setups I'm about to give you, if Bitcoin breaks lower, then you short the setup. You counter trade the move. So it's not necessarily like, I think this is going to go this way, and so you got to buy long. It's if it breaks this level, then you go long. If it gets rejected, Bitcoin breaks lower, then you go short. We can trade. You make all the money in this market because you trade both ways. We're traders. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. Making money in this market is not about trying to force yourself into every trade. It's like, hey, if Bitcoin moves higher, if the news is more optimistic, then you could see upside out of these coins. If not, these are not going to work higher, and we'll go over those in just a second. Altcoin market cap total 2. So very strong price action. When we said, oh, there's a weak breakout right here with a little bit of volume, let volume be your guide. Very important when you see these volume spikes to pay more attention to them. So right now you've got decreasing volume on increasing price, which technically a sign of weakness. All right, so the question is, you've got some type of rising channel here that at some point should break to the downside, but hasn't yet. Now, is this the double top where you do get the break to the downside? And XY. Okay, so this is the dollar index. And we said if this moves higher, you want to get a bearish retest of this area, right? You got the 200 simple coming in here, potentially this large broadening rising wedge. Lower trend line is right here. So there's ideas where you get a rejection and then you see the dollar move lower, and this is going to help Bitcoin and altcoins. Okay, so we're watching the dollar, and this has to do a lot with the Fed rate hike. Now, BNB is a coin I've been watching, and now I posted in group, we're up 16% so far. So they've got the hash flow HFT token on Binance launch pool. So you're able to farm these HFT tokens if you stake BNB and BUSD. So what does that mean? There's news in this market. Some is more important than others, but understand people are going to get free coins, HFT, if they buy BNB and stake them. So what does that mean? We need to look at BNB and we need to look for upside ideas. And so we've already seen 16% gains. You've got, now look at this. You've got this, actually, let me zoom in. One of the biggest strategies that is part of my strategy is to chart the rising and falling wedges on the RSI. And so at this point, you could potentially have a double top, a 68% chance this breaks to the downside, and it's overbought. So BNB, if you get a Bitcoin pullback, you get better entries on BNB, but know that there's a catalyst. There's a catalyst. If you get this move to the downside, there's a catalyst back here, this news, for people to buy, stake, and hold BNB. But they could also stake BUSD. And so understand that that is where you really change the games. When these altcoins start coming out with this news, and they will, and I'm going to start posting gem picks on Kucoin, and we're going to make a freaking killing, as we always do. I've been waiting for this market to essentially print a lot of these patterns, these bottoming structures that we've been waiting on. And meanwhile, in group, my team posts the very strong setups that you guys see every day. Now, link, okay, here's the catalyst. Staking rewards go live in December. That means this is going to build a bunch of holders, right? Link has to break out above this level, about $8.18, in order to see $9.30, $10.60, $12, $13.50, $14, etc. But Bitcoin has to act right. So even if Bitcoin does pull back and this pulls back, we're still watching on this idea because this gives people incentive to pay attention to Link. Very important to understand that the money flows where the attention goes. The attention is here. Link is giving away staking rewards live in December. So Link has staking rewards. You can write it down on your whiteboard, which you need to have, and you can have a plan for, hey, these are the coins. Once Bitcoin takes off, these are the coins that I need to watch because they have a catalyst. Real quick, last one, CELO. And so one of the biggest parts of my strategy is I really like the 4-hour 200 simple moving average. Okay, when the price action breaks above the 200 simple moving average, you typically get huge price spikes. But if it's underneath it, like here, it acts as a magnet, right? So previously you see magnet, 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 magnet. Now it's trying to push higher and you got volume coming in. So CELO, which again is on Binance, there's also a link for Bolsa DX in the description. You can trade these coins and make a ton of money off of these. So CELO is a coin to watch. It's trying to push higher, but it's all dependent on Bitcoin. Everything I talk about on this channel always depends on Bitcoin. If you do not know that and you're in this space, put it on a post-it and put it on your monitor, because it's always dependent on Bitcoin. Very rarely do you have coins that do something completely opposite than Bitcoin. It does happen, but CELO is a nice looking setup. Falling wedge, 68% chance it breaks out to the upside, and it's trying to flip the 200 simple moving average. And if it does so, you could see much higher prices out of CELO. If you do not have a Binance account set up yet, go into the description and set up a Binance account. There's a VIP link. It does support the channel. Thank you. If you guys like the content that I provide on a daily basis, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment in the comment box. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.